annual press release to a conference on Gombe State 2025 agriculture sector budget analysis, observations and recommendations. Small-scale women farmers organization in Nigeria, SWOFON, is a coalition of women farmers across Nigeria working together to promote women-friendly agricultural policies and increasing women access to land, farm inputs, and fundings, aimed at improving agricultural productivity in Gombe State. We have consistently engaged the state government through the legislatives and the executive arms.
The State Budget Committee Group is a group of 10 leaders working on agricultural issues in collaboration with SWOFON to ensure food security in the state. Background: the State Budget Committee Group carries out annually an analysis of the agricultural budget of the state and has conducted an analysis of the approved Gombe State 2025 agriculture budget with the following observations. 1. The 2025 agriculture budget for Gombe State stands at 3.6% of the total state budget. This reflects a continued trend of fluctuating allocations to the agricultural sector from 2020 to date. Unfortunately, the 2025 allocation represents a decline in percentage compared to previous years, which is not a positive signal of the government's commitment to agricultural development. The allocation falls significantly short of the 10% benchmark set by the Maputo Declaration and Malabo Commitment, underscoring the need for increased public investment in agriculture to drive inclusive growth, food security, and rural livelihoods in the state. 2. Capital, the current allocation. The 2025 agriculture budget has maintained a higher capital allocation compared to the current expenditure, with a 56% to 44% ratio. This year-on-year trend reflects the government policy, direction, and commitment to prioritizing capital investment that have the potential to directly impact citizens, particularly at the community level. It signals an intent to channel more resources into tangible projects and infrastructure that can stimulate agricultural productivity and rural development. 3. Per capita investment. Based on a 2.3% growth rate of the 2006 population census, Gombe population 2025 projected population is approximately 4,064,000, with an allocation of 12,777,800 naira to the agriculture sector, and per capita investment in the agriculture sector for Gombe in 2025 is approximately 3,140,536 naira, or 23. This points to poor appreciation of the importance of the sector in the state development and poverty reduction. This spending is still grossly inadequate considering the current economic challenges, trends, and depreciation in the value of the naira. 4. Women and youth in agriculture. Women and youth are central to agricultural production in Gombe State, especially at the community level, where they play a critical role in food production and household income generation. It is crucial that the state government not only maintains dedicated budget lines for their empowerment, but also ensures the timely and full release of allocated funds. In the 2025 agriculture budget, 30 million naira was allocated to smallholder women farmers, SWOFON, marking a 40% reduction from 15 million naira in 2024 and a 57% drop from 70 million naira in 2024. This downward trend is concerning given the rising need for support in inputs, mechanization, credit, and market access. The youth in agriculture budget maintains stagnant at 20 million naira for 2025, the same as previous years, with no record of fund release or implementation to date. This lack of progress risks alienating young people from the sector, despite their importance to innovation and food security. While we commend the government for retaining these budget lines, we urge immediate release and transparent utilization of the funds. We also call for expanded gender and youth responsive interventions such as access to credit, startup support, training, and mechanization to fully empower women and youth and advance Gombe state agricultural transformation. 5. Agricultural finance slash credit. We observed that there was no provision for agricultural credit for farmers in the budget. We call on the State Ministry of Agriculture to create a yearly strengthening access to credit budget line to support women, youth, and farmers living with disability, cooperatives to be able to navigate the too cumbersome access to credit in Nigeria. Number 6, farm inputs. Farm inputs are vital to boosting agricultural productivity, profitability, and food security. In the 2025 Gombe State Agriculture Budget, the fertilizer subsidy remains unchanged at 1 billion naira, the same as in 2024. However, the allocation for general agricultural input has been reduced from 30 million naira in 2024 to 25 million naira in 2025, despite rising input costs and growing demand among smallholder farmers. This reduction signals a weakening commitment to input support, especially when smallholder farmers, particularly women, need greater access to affordable quality input to sustain their yields. We call on the Gombe State government to restore and increase the allocation for agricultural inputs and ensure transparent distribution of subsidized fertilizers and inputs at affordable prices. Furthermore, the fertilizer subsidy should incorporate organic fertilizers to promote sustainable soil health and climate resilient practices. Number 7, mechanization, labor saving technologies. Furthermore, unlike the 2024 budget, the 2025 budget lacks specific provisions for mechanization under input mobilization. We call on the government to reconsider this omission and prioritize the procurement of simple mechanized equipment that can be accessed by small holder farmers, especially women, to reduce drudgery and enhance farm efficiency. Number 8, agricultural extension, also known as agricultural advisory services, remains a vital component of the agricultural ecosystem. It plays a critical role in enhancing productivity, promoting food security, improving rural livelihoods, and facilitating the adoption of modern farming techniques in Gombe State. The Agricultural Development Program (ADP) serves as the primary vehicle for delivering extension services across the LGS. In the 2025 agriculture budget, the allocation for extension services has been a notable increase, with 40,000 naira allocated for the purchase of motorcycles and communication equipment to support the implementation of agricultural extension programs statewide. This marks a significant improvement from the 5,000 naira allocated in 2024, and it reflects an encouraging step by the government to improve logistics and mobility for extension agents. However, the budget does not reflect a continuation of the previous year's allocation of 15,000 naira for the training of extension agents, which is critical for capacity building, knowledge transfer, and upscaling of field staff. Without continuous training and professional development, the potential impact of improved mobility tools will be significantly limited. While we commend this increase investment in extension infrastructure, we strongly urge the Gombe State government to complement it with dedicated funding for extension worker recruiting, training, and operational support. Additionally, to enhance effectiveness, extension service budgeting and implementation should be channeled through the ADP rather than being solely managed by the Ministry of Agriculture. The ADP, with its community level reach and technical mandate, is better positioned to manage and coordinate comprehensive extension services. Finally, we emphasize that the real value of agricultural extension lies not only in equipping agents with tools and knowledge, but in ensuring that these services are accessible, responsive and impactful at the grassroots level, particularly the smallholder women farmers. Number 9, climate resilient, sustainable agriculture, agroecology. Climate change poses a serious threat to agriculture in Gombe State, especially for smallholder women farmers. Despite its vulnerability, the 2025 agriculture budget once again lacks a dedicated allocation for CRSE or agroecology. Adopting practices like organic pest control, crop diversification, and water conservation is critical for climate adaptation and long-term food security. We call on the government to create and fund a clear CRSA agroecology budget line, aligning with national and global climate goals and supporting sustainable farming and aligning with national and global climate commitments. Number 10, research and development. For Gombe State to build a sustainable and food secure agriculture sector, investment in research and development is essential. With growing challenges like climate change, land degradation, and new pests and diseases, farmers need innovative, locally relevant solutions more than ever. Unfortunately, just like in previous years, the 2025 agriculture budget has no specific funding for R&D. This is a major gap, especially when other regions are moving towards innovative technology to drive sustainable agricultural development. Without dedicated funding, local universities and research centers can't support farmers with practical solutions like seed trials, pest resistant varieties, or soil improvement techniques. We therefore urge the Gombe State government to include a clear and well-funded budget line for agricultural research and innovation, and to partner with research institutions, universities, and farmer groups. Strengthening R&D means empowering farmers, boosting productivity, and helping Gombe compete nationally and regionally in agriculture. 11. Post-harvest losses. Post-harvest losses continue to hinder Gombe State agricultural value chain, especially for smallholder women farmers, due to poor storage, processing, and preservation facilities. Despite a 10 million naira allocation in the 2024 budget, no funds were released. Worryingly, the 2025 budget did not make provision for post-harvest losses support. We urge the government to restore and increase funding for community-based storage facilities, agro-processing support and equipment, farmer training on preservation and value addition, cold chain systems and market leakages, etc. Reducing post-harvest losses is not only an economic necessity, but also a critical component of improving food availability, increasing farmer incomes, and ensuring return on investment. It must remain a visible priority in the state's agricultural development agenda. Number 12, monitoring and evaluation. Monitoring and evaluation (M&E) is vital for transparent accountable and data-driven agricultural governance. It helps track project progress, measure performance, and ensure budget allocations benefit farmers, especially smallholder women and youth. However, the 2025 Gombe State Agriculture Budget, like the 2024 budget, did not allocate funding for M&E, reflecting a major gap in agricultural planning. Without M&E tracking, the effectiveness of interventions, identifying gaps, and ensuring accountability become difficult. We recommend that the state government make M&E a mandatory budget line aligned with the national frameworks like CAADP and NAIP, and engage civil society and farmer groups in participatory processes. A budget without M&E is an investment without direction. It must be restructured, funded, and enforced for real impact. Recommendations: increase agriculture budget to meet 10% Maputo commitment. The current 3.45% allocation falls short. Government should progressively increase funding toward the 10% target, focusing on developmental capital expenditures that directly impact farmers. Ensure timely release and implementation of budgeted funds. Many budget lines, including those for women, youth, mechanization, and input, have suffered from poor releases. Full and timely implementation is crucial. Restore and expand support for post-harvest loss reduction. With no allocation in 2025, the government should reintroduce funding for post-harvest loss reduction, especially highlighting smallholder women farmers with investment in storage, processing, and market access, reinstate and scale up mechanization and labor-saving technologies. The removal of the 100 million naira allocation for off-drone implements in 2025 is a setback. Mechanization support should be restored and expanded. Increase and release funding for women and youth in agriculture. The 30 million naira and 20 million naira allocated to SWOFON and youth, respectively, must be fully released and implemented. Further budget should increase its allocations to match actual needs. Create a budget line for climate resilient sustainable agriculture. Government must prioritize climate smart farming by introducing and funding agroecology interventions. Fund research and development. A dedicated budget line should be created to support local innovation, seed development, and evidence-based planning in agriculture. Strengthening extension services delivery. The 40 million naira for extension equipment is commendable, but the government must also invest in recruiting and training extension workers to improve service outreach. Enhance access to credit through technical support. A support mechanism should be established to help women, youth, and cooperative access existing CBN and nasal agricultural credit through technical assistance, proposal development, and negotiations with financial institutions. Institutionalize monitoring and evaluation. Introduce a dedicated M&E budget line to track project implementation, assess performance, and enhance transparency and accountability. Deepen stakeholders' engagement in budget processes. The Ministry of Agriculture should institutionalize pre-budget stakeholder consultations with smallholder farmers, CSOs, and other relevant actors. Improve legislative oversight. The State House of Assembly should strengthen oversight to enhance budget accountability, value for money, and timely release of funds.